Hi, welcome to Journey's End RV. I'm Tracy.
I'm Charlie.
And Prince is down there. He doesn't feel like being on film today, so we'll just let him stick this one out.
So we were talking about the trip we took up to the Northeast. So we left for the Northeast trip and we used Cracker Barrels going up. So we didn't really stay at any campgrounds. We'd drive a couple hours till we were tired and we'd pick a Cracker Barrel and stop off for the night. Kind of just lived as normal, other than we drove a little bit during the day, and we'd hit the road every day until we worked our way up to Jersey City, and we spent several nights in Jersey City going in and out of New York City. Taking the path from Jersey City in and out of Manhattan, and we had a great time. We actually made a video on that, which I thought was really, really good, and not so many people watched it, but we covered Manhattan, I thought, pretty well. It was a lot of fun. We actually really enjoyed it.
So if you haven't seen that video, we'll link it below. Make sure you check out our New York. Thanks, Scott and Donna, for letting us stay at your place. We had a great time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We got to see some bands. We did karaoke. They were very gracious hosts, and we appreciate you very much.
Yes. Yeah, no, we had a good time. And then going up for Tracy's birthday, she had wanted to have a lobster roll in Maine. So we actually didn't know that everything closes down up there.
The whole state of Maine closes down. Did you know that? Check out our Maine video and you'll hear all about it. But yeah, we had no idea it closed down. So we had a beeline up there.
Yeah, a little bit of learning. But she had called to try and get us reservations for the end of the month. So when we were finished, we're like, we'll go up that way. And basically they called and said, yeah, no, we're all closing down. You have to come now, because by her birthday or a couple days after, they were all shutting off the water and closing everything up. So we just beelined it up to get her lobster roll.
It was a good lobster roll. Lucky catch. Lucky catch.
I forgot, but we had a great time.
I think it's called Lucky Catch, but yeah, it's in our video.
It's in the
so
video.
Check it out.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Everywhere I go, I'm learning a lot. So that was a great time. And from there, we actually, when we were heading up there, we stayed at, was that a Sam's or no? That was
Costco.
A Costco.
Or BJ's.
I think it was Costco. And they said we could stay there, which was great because we stayed there and then we took the car off and we went into Salem. And that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot in Salem too. We went to
Salem was very cool.
We went to the witch trials and the memorial, which was actually heavier than I thought. Like reading the last words these people said, saying, I know that I'm lost or my life is over, but what you're doing is wrong and stop now. Don't do this to anybody else. And I mean, if they said things like that, it's hard to believe that they could think of somebody else knowing that this is their end and they didn't do anything wrong. So, but that was very cool. And we drove through Salem, and it was obviously around Halloween, and it was awesome. Crazy busy. People walking everywhere, no parking. But it was really cool to see all that. And then we went by which was the house that we went by from the movie?
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, we went by the Hocus Pocus house.
It's the best thing to do in October. Go to Salem, Massachusetts and see the original Hocus Pocus house.
Oh! It was dark, but cars came at the exact time we needed and they lit up the house and we were able to get good pictures of it. But they sold it and I think somebody's actually, living there.
Oh, could you imagine? So, I don't know if that would be cool or scary.
No, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Other than we're not into that kind of thing, and we were even there looking, so I don't know how many people go and look at your house.
Yeah, it's true.
That might be a little weird. But that was great, and that was all from the Costco parking lot. We were able to just kind of go around and explore. And then we went further up north and into Maine and explored all around Maine, which was really enjoyable. And then worked our way kind of back down.
Would you say that we have like one of those 3-3-3 or 4-4-4 rules where it's arrive before 3 o'clock, only drive for either 300 miles or 3 hours, and stay for 3 nights? Because I was thinking about that. I don't know if we really have that kind of rule.
Well, we have a rule. It's a 666 rule.
It's
like trouble happens.
No, but that's not our plan.
Happen.
That's
it's traffic.
It's never what you plan for.
There's accidents, there's blowouts, no matter how much we're on time or have everything under control, we're in no control of anything. So I'm fine with that. We just keep the air on.
But we do like to drive about 4 hours, although that 4 hours usually leads into 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
But we do like to drive for 4 hours, get there fairly early, certainly before dark. But yeah, so when we were driving to New York, even though we had planned a shorter kind of day, we hit a lot of traffic, which we knew we were going to. So at times it was bumper to bumper. Getting through all the tolls and the bridges and all that was not fun. But then we ended up in Jersey City in a campground called Liberty Park Harbor RV. So check that out. It was a really great spot to stay in. We were nice and close to the path, so it got us right into the city. And we went to the city a lot. Even though we grew up in New York, we were tourists for a little while in New York, and it was great. We saw the Statue of Liberty, we went to Ellis Island, we took in a concert at Billy Joel that had been rescheduled several times due to COVID, but that was really cool. Seeing Billy Joel was like seeing a bunch of Italian men getting together for a night just to play guitars, drums, sing, do all that jazz. It was really, really awesome.
Actually, that was a birthday gift for me, I think, right? Birthday.
I think it was.
But pre-COVID, so it got bumped for over 2 years. But when we went, the lights were down, and I saw somebody come out, and they were limping a little bit, and they were going up to the mic, and I thought it was somebody setting things up for Billy Joel, and then he started to play. But I'm not dissing on him. Wow, incredible. He was incredible.
So good.
But I would not have known when I saw somebody. I mean, you saw that he was older walking out to the mic and he had a limp or something going on, and I really thought it was somebody just setting up something on the stage. I had no idea.
It's just age, man.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Yeah, starting to feel it myself. But yeah, he was incredible. The whole concert was incredible. That was really enjoyable.
And I wasn't even a Billy Joel fan before we went, but I am now. It was really a really good concert.
So, he would say don't go changing, but you did. And now you like him.
I changed for Billy Joel. And then we went to that Starlight Diner. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. The Starlight Diner, you wait in line. The line for us went like down the block, but they have a very cool system, which is you just tell them how many are in your party. So if a table of 6 clears, the next group of 6 goes in. So just because you're at the end of the line does not mean you're not the next one to go in. And the line actually moves pretty quickly. But what they'll do is they go in, and they're all, I guess, people striving to be on Broadway, and while you're eating, they're singing to you. So they'll call up all the different waiters and waitresses, and they basically karaoke. I guess it's grandiose style. But it's fun, and it's diner food. You don't go there for the food.
The food is not fantastic.
But you go there because they sing to you, and that's very expensive for them to do, but it's a lot of fun.
But here's a hint. When you go to the Starlight Diner and you pay, there's a spot for tip, but they already include the tip. So they're trying to get you to pay a tip on top, and then they send a basket around of donations.
Unless it was an accident. Wink, wink. Yeah, I don't know.
An accident, yeah.
And that was after they sent the bucket around for the singers who said that, they're all artists trying to do their best, and they sent the bucket around, so you put money in it, and then you get your bill, which already included a tip, but had a tip line, and then you're like, it's getting up there for an inexpensive meal.
And not to say that you shouldn't support them and give however much money you want to give in the basket, in the tip, however you want to do it, but just be aware that the tip is included and a basket's coming around. But the singers were awesome, and they'll come on the stage and tell you that they're trying to get on Broadway and how they want your help to make it. But it was fun. It was a cool atmosphere, something fun to do. A lot of people know about it, so it's definitely worth checking out.
It's worth doing, yeah.
And while we were in New York, we went to our first ever home.
The landscape ties, since I painted them, they're the same green. It's all my railings back there. It's everything is ours. I made those are coach lights I hung up, and I made those backers, those red backers.
Timor Park Balloon Festival. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
We didn't get to go up in a balloon because why?
The weather.
The weather, yeah. I don't know
dark.
if there were reservations that we couldn't get, because we would love to go up into a balloon, and we're hoping to do that in Albuquerque, the Balloon Festa there in October. But
that's this birthday.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, lobster roll and a balloon ride.
Yeah, I don't think small. Look, I have this beauty to take me all the places. So, so we went to Timor Park Balloon Festival, and that was great because we got a sort of behind-the-scenes look into what they do with balloons. So that was awesome.
Yeah, they were nice.
What was the name of those people?
I can't remember, but they were a family from Jersey, and I just started asking questions because I was intrigued, and they were very gracious, and they just started talking all about the balloons and how long they've been doing it, and he did it with his kids and his wife, and then we were talking to his wife, and we ended up just kind of hanging out with them, and then they needed some extra weight to keep it on the ground, so here I am. So I didn't get to go up, I got to keep it on the ground, but it was cool. They took our picture in it, and they were explaining how they can't fly at night and all the different things that they do. So I enjoyed that a lot. I think I enjoyed that probably more than they had a balloon ride, but it was tethered.
Yeah.
So it went up, I don't even know, 100, 150
Not
feet, maybe.
yeah.
It wasn't very much. And people were waiting in line forever to do that. And I think I actually enjoyed myself a lot more because they kept the balloon full. They were part of the light show where they did the flames. They explained all these things to us, and it was a good time. The other way, we would have waited in line.
It was almost like a tease being on the tethered one.
Yeah, because they kind of went up and then pulled you right back down, and then they got the next group up, back down. So, and I'm sure that was a good time as well, but I liked speaking to the people and listening to their stories and experiences and things.
We also met Kelsey Grammer, and all of this was right in our local backyard, or Scott and Donna's local backyard. So all we had to do was go to an orchard, which we wanted to do anyway. It was super fun. And Kelsey Grammer was there.
He has beer and whatever. I guess he makes beer. I'm sure not himself, but he has a place that does beer.
He's got people.
And he used to sell it to this orchard, and the orchard had a fire. And
Barton Orchards.
He was trying to help them out, so he was down there shaking hands, and people were buying beers and donating money to help them out, which I thought was also very generous of him and his time. So, and the fact that he came just to see us was amazing.
He subscribed. He was our first subscriber, Kelsey Grammer. And we went to the car races. You had been when you were little. And so we looked that up, and that was a great time. Yeah,
we used to do it on weekends when we were younger. And I wasn't sure how it would go, like if you would love it or not love it.
I did love it.
And even though it was chilly, it was a great time. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I forgot how much fun it is, just the roar of all the engines and the crashes and the excitement.
My favorite was the towing ones. They towed all sorts of things. Like somebody had an inflatable doll on it. Somebody had a boat. And you would see it as they'd go around and crash into each other and everything. By the time the end of the race came, there was like nothing left. The inflatable balloon, the body doll thing was deflated. The boat was like hanging by a string or a wire, I guess.
The rule was they had to finish with the trailer, not what was on it, but they had to pull the trailer across the finish.
Or not how much of the trailer was left.
Yeah, so as long as they could drag it basically over the finish line, they could win. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Cold night, but a lot of fun.
And then they had that stunt guy go over like 19 cars or something.
Yeah, I forgot how many. A lot.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And he crashed through a fifth wheel. He went through the back of the fifth wheel and out the front. So I don't know how many fifth wheels they go through when they do that one, but and then he drove around the track on two wheels and did all kinds of stunts and stuff, and that was cool to see. And I think he does a circuit, so I think he travels the country doing that.
We were heading northeast. We also stopped in Boston, which is one of our favorite cities. We went into Quincy Market place. That was great. Did some souvenir shopping, of course. Listened to bands, a guy singing on the street. We always love to see that. Definitely support those people who are trying to, again, make it out there. And what was really interesting was the Holocaust Memorial. So
yeah, mind-blowing.
Yeah,
mind-blowing. How many numbers, we have it in the video that we had there as well, but they just have glass plates with numbers that were on these people's tattooed to them on their wrists or their arms, and they were just stacked. I forgot how many feet, but like stories. They just they just never ended, and there was just one after the other, and it's hard to imagine that, like, how many lives just one of those glasses actually had on it as far as the numbers went that represented their life. So yeah, that was, the way I was looking at it, it was kind of heavy. I'm like, well, that's a lot of people that they did that to. You hear numbers, and I don't know, and it doesn't mean that much, I guess, or it still can be heavy and mean something, but when you see these numbers stacked up, and you see how tall they go up to the sky, and you see how many pieces of glass they had to use to put these people on there, it just made it seem like it's massive, just massive. So, I mean, I enjoyed seeing it in the sense that I'm glad that I saw it, and I'm glad that they did it to make that real for a lot of people and to honor them in a way. But Boston itself, filled with all other history and stuff, was fantastic.
Yeah, there's so much history in the Northeast between Boston, Salem, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Portland, the Maine area, Kennebunkport, all those things. Definitely get yourselves out there, especially if you're a history buff. There's lots of other things to see though too when you're up there. Again, we went in October. Closes around October 10th, so make sure you get there before that. It's a really great time. We highly recommend going northeast if you haven't been already.
And what was the village we went to?
Sturbridge?
Sturbridge, yeah. Sturbridge to me was incredible too, which is just an old city set back in time. They brought it all together, so it's like you're walking through the town. All of the folks there are dressed in that era. Mm-hmm. They speak from that era. Everything there, the merchandise, other than when you really got to pay for your food, that's this era. But everything else there is back in time, and they explain how they did things. And when we had gone into the general market, we were talking to the guy across the counter, and one of the things that I didn't realize is back in the very early 1700s, he had a list of all the ships that were coming into the port and all the things that you could buy on the ship. And then they had people that would go down to the ships and negotiate and purchase items for stores and items for themselves. And I was always kind of under the impression that it was hit or miss and you'd be lucky to get things and everything was so scarce. And when you start reading the paper, they had their hands on everything. They were in all the continents and all the countries and trading all over the globe. And I guess, silly me, I don't know. I picture cowboys and Indians, and it's hard to get stuff, and you're growing your own food. And this guy said that basically everybody, or many of the people that he talks to, perceive it the same way, and that's not. He said it's just like today's newspaper. They knew when these ships were coming. There might be a range because they did sail, so within a day or two maybe, but they knew when they were coming. They knew what was on them. People would place orders, so when those ships came back, they expected the merchandise. And I just didn't realize it was basically a well-oiled machine, but not what I thought. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and I always thought it was like Little House on the Prairie, where you had it took days to get into town and get the stuff that you needed, or you had to wait for the guy or whoever to come through to give you the goods and the services that you need. But it wasn't like that at all. And we thought, it was just something quick we would do. It wouldn't really take us long to spend the day at Sturbridge. But we could have definitely gone for 2 days, or made sure we got there early, because I think it opened at 9 and we didn't get there probably till early afternoon. But we loved it, and we definitely would have gone the next day, but it rained, so we didn't make it. So if you are going to go out that way, make sure to check out Sturbridge. We did a stagecoach ride, which was fun, and we would recommend you doing that. It wasn't expensive, and it was just a ride around the circle. And it was cute. It was it gave you a feeling of how it was when they were riding the stagecoaches. So it was fun.
Yeah, and we had actually stayed at a Harvest Toast at a brewery the night before, and I was coming outside. I was supposed to be quick, but I ran into a guy next door. But I wasn't talking. I knew I had to go in. I had to go back in. So I was trying not to talk. And saying I'd go in, but of course he waved me down and said, hey, and wanted to talk to me. And the biggest irony is John, hello.
Hey, John.
It was somebody that I used to know when I was 17, maybe turning 18, 16, something like that. And we were just talking, and he asked something. He's like, I know you. And it turns out he's right. We knew each other for a couple of years back when we were teenagers. So that was kind of crazy. And then so we ended up both in the same Harvest Toast, and then we ended up bumping into them in Sturbridge the next day, which was really nice. Yeah. And I lost his number. He gave me his number.
Oh, so if John, if you're
watching, it wasn't on purpose.
Write us back.
I have no idea what I did with his number. And it was one of them things I said, I want to put this aside because I'm going to reach out to him. And I put it in a safe place, so someday it may show up, but I don't know what I did with it. But that was crazy to drive, and you're going out, and then you just end up talking to somebody, and you find out that you know each other.
So that's what it's all about, meeting people on the road. And so it was nice to meet up with an old friend, and maybe we'll meet up with some new friends like you guys. We hope to see you out there. We'll leave it here for now. Thanks for watching. Make sure to ding that bell so you know when we have another video coming out. Thumbs up if you liked what you saw today. Give us a comment if you'd like to see something else.
And it's free to subscribe, so just free. If you don't mind, it helps us a great deal. We would really, really appreciate it.
We would appreciate it. But for now, I'm Tracy.
I'm Charlie.
We'll see you on the next one.
Hope to see you
out there. Bye. And Prince is down there. He doesn't feel like being on film today, so we'll just let him stick this one out.
He's the only one that can get away with that.
So we're just sitting around here. Ugh. So we're just sitting around thinking about our season up northeast. So we're just sitting around thinking about our trip up northeast.
In the Northeast?
Yeah, in the northeast. So we're just, okay.
You don't have to yell.
So we're just sitting around reminiscing about our trip that we had up north. Yep, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.